Welcome back, everyone. Today we'll be talking about Fable on Steam. I was originally going to play this on the Xbox, however, I decided to play it on Steam after Xbox Cloud Gaming was giving me a little bit of a hassle. So, in this video, before we dive into it, let's take our nostalgia glasses off for a minute. I understand this is a game near dear to all of our hearts when we look through it with nostalgia glasses. However, I want to talk about this game objectively speaking and not with a nostalgia bias. While I do have a nostalgia bias to this game, I do not want it to sway the way we talk about it. So, with that being said, let's jump into it. Fable came out in 2004, with The Lost Chapters coming out in 2005. The Steam version includes both Fable and the Lost Chapter DLC bundled into the Anniversary Collection. We're going to break this down into story, gameplay, and how I felt about the DLC. And let's start with the story. The story is probably the weakest element of Fable. While I do enjoy the story, I feel like there's a good chunk of the story that is very much so forgettable. There are very memorable scenes with like the Balverine Forest, the arena, and big moments like that that keep things interesting and keep the player engaged. But when you look back on it, a lot of the dialogue and a lot of the actual story is pretty weak. It is the first game of the entry of the series, so it definitely gets better from there. The stories of Fable 2 and Fable 3 I feel are a bit better than Fable 1, but we're not talking about those other two games right now. Now, for the gameplay aspect, we're going to talk about the combat and talk about melee, magic, and ranged, and then we'll talk about the morality system. The morality system is one of the more complex pieces of this, which is why I want to do that last. So in terms of gameplay and combat specifically, when talking about melee combat has a lot of flaws. You can easily stun lock the enemy, or you can be stun locked very quickly. Get surrounded by too many monsters, and lo and behold, you're going to get stun locked. There is dodging, there is blocking, albeit a little wonky sometimes. The lock-on for melee kind of sucks. The lock-on also is used for ranged or for magic, so it is what it is. It is an Xbox game that came out in 2004. It's okay, to say the best. Ranged is probably the strongest combat in this, in terms of how it works mechanically. You have your third-person view, which you can lock on and then hold Y down, pull the bow back as hard as you need to, fire. Then there's a mid-ranged zoom, where you're not fully zoomed in, but you're kind of not third-person, but not full zoomed in either. That's why I called it mid-ranged. Same thing, however, you're stationary, cannot move like you can in a third person, and you can aim and fire that way. Then you have the full zoom, which is like a 2x scope, and you can kind of snipe people that way. Realistic? No, but the game has magic and is high fantasy, so what can you say about realism in this? Magic is very detailed in this game. there's neutral spells, and then there's alignment specific spells. The alignment specific spells either get cheaper or more costly depending on your alignment, which we'll go over in the morality. However, with the wide variety of spells, you can unlock everything, max everything out by just grinding enemies, and you can get EXP pretty easily by using magic, using your bow, or using your melee. And then you have general EXP. So, the spells like Lightning Bolt, Fireball, Summon, the heal, all get more powerful as you level them up. Magic is a very wonderful system in this game, very diverse system as well. I would say it's definitely the second strongest in terms of the mechanics of it. So, and then overall, like I said, for the combat, you have your general EXP, which are green orbs that come down. You have the red EXP, which is what you would get for using your melee in battle. Then you have yellow EXP, which is using your bow, which is more like the agility based style. And then you have your blue, which is when you're using your magic and your more spellcaster type style of gameplay. So, with that being said, let's move into the morality system. The morality system is, for its time, something that is very unique. Something I personally haven't seen before this, that I can remember anyways. And playing it, I was just always in awe of being like, oh wow, I can make all these bad choices in the game, and my character will, over time, slowly starts becoming more gray, starts growing horns, starts getting like an evil hairstyle or like an evil mustache. But on the opposite, I can do all these good deeds, and my character then becomes pure good, essentially. Becomes what, you know, a paladin would look like. Has a halo, has, you know, these glowing light butterflies surrounding them. And there's gear in the game that can affect your morality. You can get the dark plate gear, or the dark robe set, which will then push you more towards that evil side. You can get the bright set that will then push you towards that good side. So, the way I typically play Fable is I'll do a good run, a bad run, and get the gear that pushes me towards that. But, like I said, with the magic, you can get Heal Life. That's a good spell. The more good you are on that alignment spectrum, you will get a cheaper cost of upgrading to level it up. However, when you're bad, you can get Drain Life. And Drain Life costs more for someone who's good, but less for someone who is evil. So, very interesting, and it also ties into the way NPCs interact with you as well. As you walk through the town, NPCs will flock to you, and if you're good, they'll cheer you on. You know, scream, shout, yay, yay, yay. But if you're evil, they'll boo you, spit on you, follow you around, and just overall not like you. Adds a lot of life to the world of Albion and brings a lot of, like I said, life to the world. It's very interesting to see. So, overall, the way I would rate the game is very good in terms of nostalgia bias. Pretty good as a objective speaking. If you've never played this game before, or you love this game and you want to play it again, go for it. If you've never played it, it's worth at least a single playthrough to kind of see what all these mechanics are about. Like I said, the story is not very strong in my opinion, so I wouldn't expect much from the story, but I think you'll enjoy the gameplay overall. Sorry, this is kind of a rambling video, just trying to get my thoughts out there for you guys. But with that being said, comment down below if you played Fable before and how you like it. Like the video if you feel that you loved Fable and it's very much no nostalgia for you. Give me a subscribe if you want to see more gaming content or discussion videos like this. I have big plans for the next series, so stay tuned for that update coming very soon.